All right, so I'm actually going to go over how to graph a quadratic function and then identify the key features. All right, so if they give us a quadratic function, they'll give it to us in f of x or y equals form. So in this case, it's f of x or y equals x squared minus 4x. I'm going to put that into my calculator, into my y equals. Okay, I'm going to hit second graph. All right, so what I have to do is I have to figure out what my middle value is. That's my vertex value or axis symmetry value. I can kind of scroll up. I don't see my mirror image here. I can scroll down. I think I scrolled down too much. If I go right in the middle, I can see the 5 matches the 5, the 0 matches the 0, the -3 matches the -3, and the -4 is there. That's going to be my table that I copy down. My axis of symmetry is right in the middle. So my axis symmetry is x equals 2. 2, -4 will be my vertex because it's right in the middle of the graph. Another way you can figure this out is use the formula, axis symmetry. Axis symmetry, I'm going to abbreviate it AOS, is x equals -b over 2a. The opposite of b over 2a. Well, b is -4. So the opposite of -4 would be 4. 4 over 2a. So 4 over 2 times a is 1 because it's 1x squared. So it would be 4 over 2. So that would be 2. So x equals 2 is my axis symmetry. I can also see it'll be my axis symmetry when I graph it because it's going to be the line that cuts the parabola in half. Let me copy down these values that I'm getting from my table. You can also see that the y values are repeating, and that's what's supposed to happen. So you should have 3 repeated y values on each side like you do here, and then a middle value. The x value of that middle value will always match the axis of symmetry. Okay. I can plot these points now. So I'm going to go over to my graph and plot the points. So the first point was -1, 5. The second point was 0, 0. The third point was 1, -3. The fourth point was 2, -4. The fifth point was 3, -3. Notice how it's jumping back up. The next point is 4, 0. And then the last point is 5, 5. So there's my parabola. I can connect the dots in a curved manner, making a U shape. Now I can continue going in either direction. So my arrows point up, just like they do in a line, to indicate that I can keep going on forever. If I were to go in the negative direction, you can see the values are getting bigger of y. If I were to go up in the positive direction, again, the y values are getting a lot bigger. So that's how I know I keep going on forever. But I'm going to stick with these values here, the middle value, and then 3 above and 3 below. All right, the middle value is actually my vertex or minimum value. In this case, it's a minimum value because it's the lowest value on the graph. All right, so they want the coordinates of that. It's 2, -4. You can see that's the middle of our table. All right, so that would be our minimum value. That's also our vertex. The vertex is the same thing as the minimum or maximum. It's also the same thing as the turning point. So all 3 of these are the same. And that's where our vertex will be here. It will be in the middle of the table that we created with the repeated y values on each side. All right, it'll also be the point. The vertex is the point that has the axis symmetry. The axis symmetry is a line, x equals 2, but the vertex is the point that the axis symmetry goes through. So here's our axis symmetry. It's a line that intersects the x-axis at 2. So it's x equals 2, but it also goes through that point, the vertex. All right, the roots. The roots are where the graph hits the x-axis, also known as the x-intercepts in 0. So all of these are the same. All right, so the roots. We have one root here at 0, 0. And then we have another root here. These are our two roots. So the coordinates of this one would be 1, 2, 3, 4, comma 0. Remember, the x-intercepts are where y is 0. So you could see that this is an x-intercept. And this is an x-intercept. It's where y is 0. So the roots, zeros, and x-intercepts are the value where y is 0. And they're all the same. So I'm going to write that down for all of them. The last thing is the y-intercept, which I don't know why I don't have on here. Let's add that as part H. The y-intercept is where x is 0. So again, that would be here at 0, 0. So it's also the y-intercept for this one because x is 0 there. So it would be 0, 0. And you can see that's where the graph hits the y-axis at this point.